Hello, everybody, and welcome to Staff's Corner. I am Staff, and today we're going to do things a little differently. Now, typically what's been on my channel since I've created it has been kind of reactions to music, big moves that's been happening in hip hop. The whole Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef actually birthed my channel and just gave me the motivation to want to get on camera and speak to y'all and just kind of find a like-minded community of hip-hop fans, sport fans, just a community where we can talk and discuss and analyze things. And what I have not done is really offer commentary on things that are happening in hip-hop that is not song-related, I guess I would say. I am a huge fan of hip-hop. I think I've mentioned it multiple times in this channel already. I've been listening to the genre pretty much my whole life, and I've shown it a lot of respect and reverence with it being my favorite genre of music. So I can't help in feeling excited that it's going to get the global stage where we have a single solo hip-hop artist, rapper, that's going to be performing at the Super Bowl. And I know what many of you guys are going to say, oh, Dr. Dre did it, Kendrick himself has also done it. And to that, what I would say is, yes, that is true. Dr. Dre is a producer, so he has the ability to play songs in other genres and showcase the different types of artists that he's worked with enough to kind of still be global friendly for advertisements. But as some of you may know, Jay-Z is the head of the performance section of the Super Bowl for the halftime show. He's been on the committee for the last few years. I think he was responsible for Dr. Dre performing in LA during a couple Super Bowls ago. I think about 2 Super Bowls ago. But why I'm bringing Jay-Z up is with him being the head of that decision-making committee now, we are able to get this moment, which is Kendrick Lamar being picked to be the sole headliner for the Super Bowl halftime show. A historic moment in hip-hop with him being the first ever rapper to do so. And why that's very exciting to me is, first of all, hip-hop will get another chance where it can showcase the great aspects of its genre on the global stage. But I also believe it was rewarded to a guy that has an incredible ability of putting on top-notch shows. And I can say that because I have been to a live performance by Kendrick Lamar on his last critically acclaimed tour, Mr. Morales and the Big Steppers. And I think the whole world, well, at least those who were able to watch the show, also saw firsthand how great of a show he can put on during the Ken and Friends pop-out show, which was a fantastic concert. So we know he has the ability to really put an incredible show filled with theatrics and really showcase the genre in the purest, best way possible for the global audience. So for those who have not somehow been exposed to hip hop, but are watching the Super Bowl, will be able to digest hip hop at its best. Now, the decision to make Kendrick Lamar the headliner, although that I believe was a good decision, has sparked a lot of controversy given where the Super Bowl is being held at for this coming year, next year, 2025. And that location being New Orleans. New Orleans has an extensive history when it comes to hip hop with artists such as Master P, Lil Wayne, Hot Boys, Badass, and so on. You can keep going, honestly. So New Orleans definitely is entrenched within the history of hip hop. And a lot of people feel like Lil Wayne, being the biggest artist to come out of New Orleans, should have been the individual to headline the Super Bowl halftime performance, showcasing hip hop to the global stage, with it being culturally relevant to the location it's being held at. And although I do understand people that think in that way, I'm going to let in with a little bit of secret between just you and I. Lil Wayne doesn't have the abilities to showcase hip-hop in a great light in 2024. And I'm saying this with absolute no disrespect intended. Lil Wayne is one of my favorite artists of all time. He is a major legend in hip-hop and kind of making it this viral #1 global music. He definitely has had a hand in expanding that within the genre. But facts are still facts. And the fact is that, unfortunately, Lil Wayne is not able to put on a stellar 10 out of 10 performance on a global stage in 2024. And I think it's pretty evident to anyone who has seen any recent Lil Wayne live concerts, or just him forgetting his words and just not quite having the stage presence to move around and really fulfill a full performance through movements, choreography, even the ability to rap your whole songs without an audio feedback being needed to be played back. And I think all of those are very viable reasons to not pick Lil Wayne to headline the Super Bowl show. And I'm getting on here on my phone, recording this and shooting this. I'm not even recording it in my home office with the cameras and everything, because I really wanted to just get my raw, honest opinion as the news are breaking, because it's becoming major news. I think that's kind of been Kendrick's theme over the last year or two, is that anything Kendrick related causes a seismic shift within hip hop. But there's a lot of ridiculous theories going around there. A lot of people saying that Kendrick was taken for the sole purpose of Jay-Z wanting to get back at Drake for snubbing the title deal a few years ago. Some people are saying that this is still a continuation of the war between Roc Nation versus Young Money. Jay-Z is being this overlord overseeing hip-hop and is controlling the very movements of hip-hop and how it's presented to the world. And while some of those things could have an inkling of truth, I genuinely think that majority of the reason why this decision was made is because if we look at hip-hop as a whole, if we had to break it down to 3 categories and who would be the best possible individual to showcase the genre on the global stage, I think you would kind of break it down between saying, are they big enough? So do they have enough hits in their catalogs? Are they well known enough to cause an impact? Do they put on great shows? Do they put on great performances? Are they enjoyable? Are they entertaining? Is it creative? Is it fun? And the third option being, are they able to perform a full set with no audio playback, strictly with their vocals and background music and background singers? I don't think there's any other artist in the world that's in the hip hop genre that fits all 3 of those categories that's not named Kendrick Lamar. I know it's my opinion. I know a lot of you might disagree. Some of you guys might say names like Nicki Minaj, which is also very viable. Nicki Minaj is a viable option. Some people might be saying Drake. Some people might be saying Jay-Z himself, if he wanted to do such a thing. But if we're talking current, if we're talking the guy who's had the biggest impact in hip-hop over the last few years, who just won the biggest hip-hop beef of all time just this past year, just a few months ago, and who is a chart topper, who puts on fantastic concerts and live performances, and who can do a full set with no audio playback, I just think that individual is Kendrick Lamar. So if you look at it purely from a business perspective, and also as a liaison for hip hop, as I would believe Jay-Z sees himself, there's a guy that checks all of those boxes, and that guy's name is Kendrick Lamar. And whether that causes animosity between certain people online, animosity between certain people within the industry, or just kind of creates narratives online that people will run with, I think if any of us were in that committee and were positioned to make that decision, and we actually wanted to make the best decision, I genuinely feel like a lot of us would reach the same conclusion. Now take that for what you will. Create whatever narratives you want to create it out of. Ultimately, I believe the committee got the decision right. I think Kendrick Lamar is going to put a fantastic show on. And honestly, there's not been anyone else who's created such seismic movements within hip hop other than Kendrick Lamar for the last, I would say, about a year and a half. So sorry to anyone else out there who thought I might hop on here and agree with the outrage that's going on. Everyone's saying that it definitely should have been Lil Wayne and that people are just hating on Drake. This big brother conspiracy that exists. And some of that might have some truth to it, but honestly, I think the committee picked whoever they thought was going to put on the best show when it comes to hip hop. So we're all going to be tuned in. The world is fully locked in for this performance come February. I know I am. Until then, go outside, feel the sun, hang out with friends, kiss your loved ones, stay off Twitter, and stop creating random narratives. I don't know why that's a thing in social media these days, but everyone just wants to create their realities.